Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the first of the month. So that means it's time for Cap's Recap, a monthly channel update series thingamathing. This is probably going to be a pretty short one. Don't you say that every month? Yeah, but this time I think it might actually be under 10 minutes. So it's October, which means it's spooky month time. Unfortunately, there won't be any spooky streams this month like there was last year, but I still got some fun things planned, including the winner of the spooky game poll, which was Deadly Premonition, which was very surprising to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've heard really good things about it. I'm just surprised that that won in a poll that also included the Resident Evil 2 remake and Ghost Trick. But yeah, Deadly Prem won, and it will be starting up next week. And then once that's over, Fatal Frame 2 will begin. Looking forward to both of them. I was initially going to wait for Bowser's Inside Story to end before I started Deadly Premonition, but kind of fell behind on uploads. That's what a blue screen will freaking do to you. But it's fine, like by the time next week rolls around, there won't be too much left for the game. So I'll probably just wrap it up on weekends and whatnot. To reiterate previous update info, Wild Guns and then Lisa will follow Live-A-Live. And considering those two aren't particularly long games, they'll more than likely be over before October is over. Which means we'll be able to get back to the whole rare / obscure / weird game thing that I've been doing this year. That Live-A-Live was technically a part of, considering the fact that it was never released in the States. And it just so happened to also be part of the 16-bit summer because, oh yeah, it's a 16-bit game, but yeah, beside the point. But yeah, this game in particular, it's a pretty obscure GameCube game that kind of fits the mood of October. Vague hint is vague. And then, of course, I just recently started Bayonetta 2. And then there's 3 games in particular that I had planned on doing. Well, I still plan on doing them, but some things are going to change for them. So yeah, this year I planned on LPing Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE and Xenoblade Chronicles. But the most recent Nintendo Direct, which was freaking insane, kind of threw a monkey wrench in those because definitive editions of them are coming out next year. And normally I don't really rebuy games unless the newer version has more to offer that the original didn't have. So, for example, I wasn't going to really double dip on Bayonetta 2 because even though the bump in frame rate stability would be nice, Bayonetta 2 on Switch only brings to the table Amiibo compatibility and local co-op, as opposed to the Wii U version not being compatible with Amiibo and only having online co-op. Or The Last of Us Remastered for PS4 is just the same exact game as The Last of Us on PS3, it just adds the DLC to the package. And if you kind of already have the DLC, why do you really need to double dip on the game? In my opinion. Now compare that to Xenoblade Chronicles and Tokyo Mirage Sessions getting updated ports next year. The Tokyo Mirage Sessions port is going to have new stuff, like new characters that you can use in battle, new stories, and a new song, which kind of plays a major role in the game. So yeah, considering it's adding something new that you literally can't play on the original, yeah, I'm more inclined to double dip for that. And the Xenoblade Chronicles port is going to be adding all of the cut content from the Wii version. Not to mention, it looks significantly better. So much better. But that's kind of what happens when you skip an entire console generation before you decide to port a game over. So yeah, I'm going to wait for those respective ports to come out before I LP those games. And the third game I was alluding to, Link's Awakening, because I'm still doing the thing with playing through the Zelda timeline, Link's Awakening would be coming up after Oracle of Ages and Seasons. So I figured, why not just play the remaster as opposed to the original for this? And yeah, this kind of goes against the whole, like, oh, it doesn't bring much new to the table. I mean, okay, it brings, you know, Zelda Dungeon Maker, but that's kind of minor. The game itself is still the exact same, just obviously it's going to look a lot better than a Game Boy Color game from the 90s. But apparently there's also some quality of life changes that make it an all-around better experience than the original. Plus, I don't actually own a physical copy of Link's Awakening anyway, so I figured why not? Yeah, I kind of only own Link's Awakening digitally on my 3DS. And the updated Zelda ports do really tend to be, like, really good. Like, after having played Wind Waker HD, I really don't have a reason to ever go back to the GameCube version, which was already, like, one of my favorite games of all time. And Twilight Princess HD, as much as I love regular Twilight Princess HD is just so much better. So yeah, I'm sure the same will be for Link's Awakening Remastered or HD. They don't even add that, they just call it Link's Awakening. Alright. And finally, I do have a Discord server and a Patreon. I mean, I already mentioned the Patreon, but consider this sort of like the first major announcement of it. That almost sounded like English. It's still a bit of a work in progress, but the fact that I actually have my very first patron, shout out to Aidman, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, I figured now it's about time I actually try to advertise it. So yeah, I do have a few goals already set up. The first one at $50. I'll be doing full LPs of the Forbidden, Crash, and Spyro games. Crash of the Titans, Mind Over Mutant, The Legend of Spyro, and yes, even the GBA games. May God have mercy on my soul. And the second goal at $100, the Septenary Project, better name pending. But yeah, 7 games with 7 in the title. Final Fantasy VII, Dragon Quest VII, Resident Evil 7, Dynasty Warriors 7, Ys 7, Killer 7, and Chelsea and the Seven Devils. What is the meaning behind this goal? I honestly have no freaking clue. I was half asleep when I thought of it, but I figured it was cool enough to keep. So yeah, it's just a random thing to celebrate at, you know, getting up to $100. I don't know. More and better goals on the way. I was originally going to put down, like, oh, the ability to stream as one of the goals, but considering I actually am trying to improve my internet for next year, I figure I won't actually put that as a Patreon thing. Likewise, a 3DS capture board was also going to be a goal, but then I saw one on eBay at an affordable price, and I just had to jump at that. But yeah, I'll come up with some goals to put down. Likewise, I'm also going to be working on a couple more tiers. I'm not going to go overboard with it. I've seen some people that have like 10 plus tiers for their patrons. It's like, that's a little too much. Like 1 to 5 seems to be like a good stopping point. But yeah, currently the only tier I have, and this is what like any patron will be eligible for, is access to a patrons only section on my Discord and a special poll thing that I kind of lifted from a few other people I follow. I'll get more into this poll come December when it'll actually start. But the short end of it, to hype it up, patrons will essentially be picking games for me to LP all throughout next year. Anything is fair game, with a few caveats. Nothing on Xbox One, or 360 because I don't own those consoles and I don't really plan on buying them. Maybe if I end up finding one for relatively cheap, I will include them, but otherwise, nah. And it can't be any of the games that's already in a Patreon goal. But that means anything else is fair game. AAA, mid-budget, Kusoge, indie, it doesn't matter. Want to suggest a fighting game? Hey, go ahead and do it. Want to suggest something from the Atari? Be my guest. I'm just trying to think of random things like Bloodborne, Fire Emblem Warriors, Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass, Hollow Knight, hell, Bible Black. Yeah, I probably won't be able to do that on YouTube or Twitch, but you know what? I heard Pornhub actually has good ad revenue. So if push comes to shove, we can make it work. Yeah, more details as December gets closer, but that's essentially the short of it. Patrons will be able to choose what I play next year. It's just gonna be like one big old vote. And it won't even be like, oh, one game wins. No, like, the games that get the most votes will be played in that order next year. And finally, Discord. I kind of have to get off my lazy butt and actually start getting it ready. I mean, it's already ready, but just make more channels and some rules and whatnot. Just get everything all nice and presentable. I guess I'll probably try to have some basic stuff ready for it to go live by the time this video goes up. But if I do, and there is an invite link in the description of this video, it's probably only going to be temporary to start. I just want to ease into it before I have like a permanent invite link. And in the end, I mean, I know like a permanent link is only permanent for as long as I make it permanent. I'm kind of a one-man mod team right now. And apparently Discord has had some recent issues with bots that look for permanent invite links, and then they'll invade the server and just start DMing random members, so kind of want to avoid that until it appears that Discord is actually trying to take steps to stop that. But yeah, Discord and Patreon, those are things. Anyway, that's it for this update. Stay tuned for just more Bowser, more Bayo, and more spookiness. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye.